All right, all right. It's Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope this is a good Tuesday for everyone. Real quick, my guest Tristan Costman, Ragebreed recording artist, self-imposed exile, is waiting most kindly and patiently in the green room. I just wanted to make a couple quick announcements real quick. Remember new uploads on the Dreamers Life channel on YouTube every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. New uploads at ragebreedradio.com and Ragebreed TV every Wednesday. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification because I have some great shows lined up from now till summer of 2022. I'm very excited. It's going to be a fun time. Also, don't forget, just a reminder, mark down on your calendar, January 21st. January 21st. More info on that coming out soon. So, without further ado, let's bring out Ragebreed recording artist Tristan Costman. Hey, Tristan, welcome to the show.
How's it going, man?
It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. So, what's new? What's new? Tell the dreamer.
Well, we just got done playing a couple Halloween shows back to back. We had a show in Davenport, Iowa on the 29th of October, and we had one in Beloit, Wisconsin on the 30th of October. So we did quite a bit of driving for that. The fun times of being in a band when you don't have a lot of local places to play. You spend more time driving than you do actually being at the show.
Yes.
But yeah, they went really well. We networked with a lot of different bands. Hopefully, we should have some other concerts coming up here shortly. We have one, maybe two more shows for this year if I can get this last one set up for December at our own venue. But we do have one more at the end of this month down in Bloomington, Illinois, which is about an hour and a half away from us. So yeah, other than that, after these last couple shows are going to be done, we're going to head into the studio, start recording everything. We just started doing some drum tracking this past week, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. So what's been going on? What's been going on with Tristan Costman, and what's been going on with self-imposed exile since the last time we talked?
Well, I'm still plugging away at work, almost 60 hours a week, so that hasn't changed any. On top of doing all the band stuff and all the other stuff I get wrapped up in, I work 120, 130 hours a week. And it was I had to take a little bit of time off to kind of recenter and get back to zero,
That's it.
But with the band, we're starting to write some new music other than what we're going to be putting on our full length. Trying to actually get a couple videos shot. We're going to be doing a photo shoot with a photographer probably sometime in the next month. Other than that, there's not a whole lot going on. It's quite a bit, so add any more to that and everything gets confusing.
I hear you. Yeah, that's easily. It seems like I've been running into that. I've found out, and I'm constantly being reminded that when things are coming at you from 3 or 4 directions at the same time, and you're trying to keep all that stuff straight up here. You write down your notes. Like me, I have my phone. I'm hoping that I get some kind of a planner for Christmas or something, but I write down everything in my phone. Everything is recorded and backlogged in my StreamYard studio.
Mm-hmm.
And more and more as things progress, it's just keeping it all straight and making sure that I'm not selling myself short for the sake of keeping up on everything. Because I've discovered that if I sell myself short, nothing really matters. If I'm not really keeping myself the center of everything, nothing nothing works out. And if it does, it's not the quality it could be,
Right.
you know. And you're saying that you had to step away, and that's good. That's good. I tend to do that myself on the weekends. I started doing interviews on Sunday, last Sunday, um, but I don't think that would be a constant thing. I I spent the whole day Saturday barely on my phone. I kept my phone way far away from me most of the day. I took some deep breaths and I just got out of my own head for the day. It was great. Sunday came around, had a fantastic interview with John Ferris out of Houston, Texas, a good friend of mine who comes on the show once a month. And, so this will probably be my last interview of this week because I've already done like two, like two interviews this week so far. And speaking with you is number three. So that's 3 in 2 days. So I'm probably not going to do any more interviews this week. I need to clean up studio space and work on guitar stuff and get myself set up with a webcam and everything to start all that again. And because next week I've got two interviews, and one of them with the Jeffrey Carlson band out of Hollywood, California. And these guys are bad, dude. These guys are right on the verge, right on the verge of being astronomically mega pro. They're this close. They're so good. You know, I'm glad that you met me today, and I'm glad that we're able to talk. It's been a while, and I was thinking about you, and I was like, oh man, everybody wants my more and more want my attention and everything, but I was thinking, man, I wonder how Tristan's doing. So when I was told, well, when your name came up, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'm gonna reach out. So thank you for coming back on the show, man.
Hey, no problem.
You know. So what? So self-imposed exile.
Hmm.
What are the goals or that the band has for 2022?
Well, um, we are going to try and get into doing some more touring. Like I said, we should be releasing the full length sometime early 2022. Maybe do a mini tour for a record release for that. Probably at some point in time, I know we want to uh, start hosting more shows at our own venue. So for us, it's not just about being the center of attention. It's also about helping everyone else in our scene try and be heard by everybody. Because if we can't show support for everybody being in a band that we're in, why should anybody else do the same for us?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we try and do that, so that way we network, we gain a bit of favor with some of the other bands. A lot of times it'll lead to shows farther on down the line. Um, but yeah, like I said, I think we're trying to do maybe some festivals this coming year, uh, a lot more touring, um, just playing the music, man. That's what we enjoy doing. So, like I said, we're writing new stuff, so we'll hopefully have some stuff to debut at
Mm.
future shows.
Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So, do you have any video ideas that are in the works?
We do. We have a couple different ones. One will be a video for track 4 off of our EP that we put out, called "Breaking Up the Cycle" or "Breaking Up the Circle." Sorry, it's been a long day.
Sure.
Don't even remember my own stuff. Um, but it's about like the voodoo and possession, and it also kind of branches into um, like borderline shadow people. So anybody that has any interest in any of those may get a kick out of the video once it's done. But yeah, we're hoping to get that done probably sometime in the next month, if we can actually get the person uh, to kind of bear down and actually record it,
Yeah.
as opposed to just saying, "Oh yeah, I'll shoot the video," and then time comes and they're like, "Oh well, I got stuff going on." Well, yeah, but you also said you're gonna do this, so Um, yeah, I mean that's kind of what we got going on and what we're trying to do. You know,
Now,
I know we got hopefully some new merch coming up here shortly. Hopefully, kind of depends on the whole money aspect thing, because for us to actually have stuff printed is you see these other bands and they have tons of shirts, tons of posters, CDs, all these other knickknacks and stuff on their table, and they're like, "Oh, well, we have all this stuff," and it's like, "Well, why don't you guys have this stuff?" Because your shit's expensive. That's why I don't have a bunch of stuff. But we're trying to get a little bit better at that. Right now, all we have is stickers and CDs, so we'll see how that goes. I'm trying to get some more shirts back in.
now, who's making up your stickers at the moment?
We actually, I ordered those from the website My Merch Guy. I got 1,000 of them a few months ago, for like $100 or something. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of 3x3 stickers for that. So kind of slap them on everything if we can. Anywhere we go, well, you'll probably end up seeing a sticker.
That's awesome. Well, hey, branding, even if it's
Right.
with a sticker, it get it out there. Get it
Right.
out there, 24/7 almost, because you never know. You might walk to the mailbox, end up saying hello to somebody that you've never seen before, you know,
Yeah.
and you don't have any stickers, you don't have any cards, and it's like, so yeah. If you don't mind me asking, Tristan, who in your T-shirts?
Um, Well, right now we're trying to kind of compare who's not gonna charge us like outrageous amounts.
Nah,
Um,
yeah.
I remember the first time we did a run of T-shirts back in 2019. Um, we were selling them for like $15, but we were paying $10 to $12 depending on sizes to have them printed. So we were making, you know, $3 to $5 per shirt. So we're kind of price checking at this point in time. So
You gotta always be cognitive and always, well, when it comes to money,
oh yeah,
always keep your eyes on the money because it it, it doesn't take much. You know, you could be spending yeah, you could be spending $20 over what you're supposed to be spending. But if you do that enough times, then something will come up and you'll be like, well, I had the money, where'd it go? I know about that too, and nobody's ever alone. I've been there and done that. I'm real watchful.
right. I mean, you know, we thought about doing like one of the Teespring sites or one of those where it's kind of like ship to order
Yeah.
or create to order or whatever you want to call it. But again, you know, that doesn't do us any good to uh, take to shows because people aren't going to order something off the internet at a show. It's kind of that instant gratification thing. If you're going to buy something, you want it now, not, you know, in 2 weeks. So I don't know. Like I said, right now we're trying to just find somebody that's going to be a reasonable uh, supplier. Um, I've got tons of different merch suppliers on my Facebook, so I kind of go through and message ones and see like, hey, you know, we're looking for X amount of T-shirts. What do you charge? And you know, see which one's going to be the best fit for us. I mean, it may not be the cheapest one or the most expensive one. Maybe somewhere in the middle. All this kind of depends on what we end up with, you know. So,
Well, so tell me, Tristan, has there been any major band lineup changes?
not since January. We added our keyboardist in January. Other than that, no, everything's still the same. Um, but you know, she's played 5 shows with us so far and done great every time. So I believe on our Facebook for sure, but I think they're also on YouTube. We have some videos of the latest shows that we just played a couple weekends ago. So if anybody's interested, you know, hit up our YouTube or our Facebook, and you can see some live videos from both the venues.
Where can everybody go to everything, merch, music, seen video wise of self-imposed exile?
Well, if you want to check out our Facebook, it is facebook.com/815exile. We are on YouTube. Just search Self Imposed Exile. We have our site, which is a Reverb Nation site. It's reverbnation.com/self-imposed-exile 3. And Instagram is at Surface Barrier. Twitter is at Imposed Self. So, I mean, if you feel like joining any of those things or sending us a message, hey, have at it. We're always open to chat or whatever.
Cool, cool, good. That's very good.
Mhm.
Does self-imposed exile have like a 5-year plan?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing for every year. We just want to keep going and hopefully get bigger and bigger until we can start playing some some bigger festivals, get a little more notice. Maybe my ultimate goal at the end of the day would be play someplace like Vakken or Hellfest, or some of those quintessential you've made it as a metal artist shows. But that would be my ultimate goal. Um, and everybody else is kind of on board with that too. They think the same way that I do when it comes to that. So I mean, it's not like we're trying to take over the world. We're not trying to go all metalocalypse on this. We're just here to make music that we like and we enjoy. And if you enjoy it too, if not, well, you can just as easily not listen to it. And if you're at a show, do whatever you want to do. You know.
The the Celtic druid chanting bagpipe type music that I meditate to every morning.
Mm-hmm.
But it works for me, you know, and
Right.
it's what I identify with, and that's what I relate to. And, you know, so never be discouraged if not everybody is really into, or maybe you might feel like you're don't be discouraged if you're running people that aren't into self-imposed exile style of music. Keep going, because you know that there are people. You've already seen it. You've had 2 nights of it.
Yeah.
People like self-imposed exile, so stay focused on that. Keep pushing forward.
Oh, we always will. I mean, it's for us. It isn't even about having the largest crowd. It's about actually getting there, us being on stage, being able to play the music that we love to anybody that actually wants to hear it. People that a lot of times when we go on stage, if they've heard us before, if they know people that have heard us, and they think, all right, well, we're probably not going to like this, well, they'll leave. That's fine. But the people that do stay, they love it.
Yeah,
You know, because for us, our music isn't just in our area. They have a lot of the same styles of music with a lot of the bands, so you know what you're going to hear. With us, it's kind of like a roller coaster. We add so many different influences when it comes to what we do. So people kind of want to stick around and see what's going to happen. It's not a, an in your face thing the whole time. It's not a really slow, drawn out thing the whole time. For us, you're going on a roller coaster, and at the end of the night, you're probably going to be as worn out as we are. So,
that's awesome. So, for anybody that's going to be listening to this on my podcast channel on ragebreedradio.com, or be watching this on Ragebreed TV um, from tomorrow evening on,
mhm.
what would you say?
Well, I would have to say, first and foremost, if you're going to learn an instrument or you're going to sing, practice. Practice, practice, practice. I know a lot of people that have been playing instruments for decades, and they still practice all the time. All the time. Because you never quit learning. If you quit learning, it's because you quit trying to find things better to do. You quit trying to be a better musician. Secondly, I would say if you want to do that, do everything you can to do it. If
Yeah,
you can find a way to get a group of people together and start a band, that's fantastic. It's a lot of work, because you have schedules, you have, responsibilities, you have, if you're 14, 15, just getting into it, it's not quite so bad because you're still living at home with your parents, most likely. you don't have a whole lot of responsibilities other than, hey, who's going to drive me to practice? You're not going to have the best gear because, well, mom and dad aren't going to want to pay $4,000 for a guitar or amps or drums or whatever. Um, but yeah, if you can get good on cheaper instruments, you're going to be just as good on an expensive instrument.
Yeah.
The price does not make you play any better. I've known a lot of guitar players too, especially, oh, I can't learn this, $250 guitar. I'm going to have to buy a $3,000 guitar and then I'll play fantastic. No, you're still going to play like shit because you didn't practice. That's no one's fault but that person. So, I mean, it's one thing that if that's what you really want to do, follow it, run with it, do whatever you can. Like I said, it's a lot of work. We're a band that has 6 people in it. So we have 6 different people with 6 different schedules, most of which have families. So you have other family obligations all the time. It's not always easy to do what we want to do. We have to pick shows based on, hey, is anybody going to be out of town this week? Or, hey, does anybody have any prior plans? You know, we set one day aside during the week to actually practice, but still, it's like 9:30 at night where we're starting. Sometimes even 10 or 11 when we're starting. So, it's not an easy thing to do. But if that's what anyone wants to do in their heart is 100% be a musician, excuse me, do it. Don't think about it. Don't second guess yourself. You're not going to get virtuoso level overnight. It takes time. That is the one thing that people don't want to assert is time. And I understand that. People have things they'd rather do. Well, I'd rather go and see this movie, or I'd rather play on my phone, or I have this PlayStation 5, or I've got this. Well, okay, that's all fine, but you still have to, practice. You still have to take the time to get groups together, to write, to, well, practice as a band, not just as a solo person. And that's the thing with a band too, is you have to find people that you can actually work with. You can't just throw 5 people, 4 people, 5 people together just because they all know how to play instruments already and expect it to work. Because if you can't get along with those people, if you can't have some sort of, if not friendship, uh, at least a working relationship with, then it's not going to work. If you can't stand the people that you're in a band with, well, first off, you shouldn't be in a band at that point, at least not with those people. And second off, you probably didn't try that hard. You just stuck with the first people that came into to your ad on Facebook or wherever. I kind of date myself. The days of putting ads on Craigslist, which I don't even think is around anymore. But
I haven't seen it.
yeah, that was years and years ago. But yeah, like I said, if you're wanting to do that, before you try and be in a band, learn your instrument, practice your craft, get good yourself, so that way, if you actually can find that group of people and you can find somebody that you want to work with, you're not the person that's kind of throwing anything under the bus when it comes to your playing abilities or something like that. Like I said, it's going to take time, it's going to take work, but it may not financially be super rewarding. But going and playing on stage in front of people is one of the most addictive things that I've ever done. And like I said, you're not going to make a whole bunch of money off of it, especially not in a local scene. But knowing that you created something that people want to hear and people love to listen to, it's fantastic. I would take that over a paycheck any day. In fact, I have at a lot of shows over my lifetime. So, they just have to realize though that if that is what you want to do, you want to be the next Metallica, you want to be the next Volbeat, probably won't get rich. That kind of those days of, record labels throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars at bands to go on tour like they did back in the 80s
Yeah.
and things like that, those are over.
Yeah.
That's not around anymore. That's not feasible. That's not what it's about. It's about making the music that you love and you want
Yeah.
to hear. Because if you make what you want to hear, chances are somebody else in the world wants to hear it too. And it's a shame too, because we've had, like I said, the last two shows we played, people were fantastic. They wanted to come out, they wanted to see music.
Yeah.
They didn't care what the music was. They wanted to come out and have a good time.
That's awesome.
And it was great. Nobody was pushing masks, nobody was pushing vaccines, nobody was pushing anything. It was, if you want to come and see this, come and see it. Nobody's going to hassle you because it's a local show. Come out and have fun. Get out of the house and do something. It was $10 one night and $5 the next. So it's not like you're breaking the bank. You're not paying 100 and whatever dollars to go see nosebleed seats for Metallica or whatever, all these other bands. It's $10. If you can't swing $10, first off, you probably shouldn't be going to a bar in the first place. But yeah, I mean, if you want to see live music, that's the greatest thing about local shows is they're cheap. And you could find something that you like better than most mainstream stuff. Because a lot of that has gotten stale. Quite stale. So.
Yeah, it's a hard call, with all with the couple world tours that I know of that are going on right now. I wouldn't even say they're world tours. I'd say they're more like North American tours,
Right.
with some stops in Europe. Um, and a tour that is really going on and still running strong is Ace Frehley and Alice Cooper right now. And that I've watched the entire set for both bands on YouTube, and it's a great show. It's a great show, and that touring. I saw what Volbeat was doing when Volbeat came to LA, came to Los Angeles, here where I live. It was gnarly, dude. They played the Hollywood Palladium,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one place they played. And the stage set was very minimal, but it was spot on,
Right.
and it was gnarly. It was kick ass, and they put on a great set. Um, that just goes to show you. I've even seen Metallica downsize,
Yeah.
almost to where they barely were using anything when they played at the Griffith Observatory, outside the Griffith Observatory here in California, um, in the greater metropolitan Griffith Park area of Los Angeles. And they just had some monitors, some wedge monitors in front of them, a couple of teleprompters, and lights kind of in front of them, and a little lighting behind them.
Yeah.
But they played right on the front lawn of the Griffith Observatory. Yeah, it was cool. And I saw Metallica just stripped down before, but that that was pretty cool. That wasn't an arena show that they're familiar with, or
Right.
that they're familiar for. Excuse me. So
For us to play even a front lawn show somewhere, like we can still do indoor shows here, um, depending on where you're at in the state. Some require vaccines, some require masks. Well, I think all require masks because of the mandate from our governor. But yeah, no, we don't have to do the outside shows, so we could play pretty much anywhere that we wanted to, that we could get a show at. Um, so I mean, we do have some bigger venues around here, but depending on, like I said, depending on where we go, like if we go anywhere in Chicago, you have to have the vaccine card thing or provide, I believe it's two negative tests within 72 hours of the showtime. So, I mean, it's a lot harder to play certain areas, but when it comes to you playing like outside shows of, bigger venues, no, not for us. Like I said, we have our own little shop that we play out of sometimes, and like so there's a few spots within an hour and 20 minutes. Sorry, don't mind me. My dog's bugging me right now. I just got home from work before we started this, and now she wants attention.
That's okay. Lastly, I know my calico's the same way. It's all good. Um, lastly, now you were touching on the kind of like the plans that self-imposed exile has.
Hmm.
How many more gigs do you think self-imposed exile will be able to get in before the end of the year?
Right now, we only have two. One will be the end of this month, and then one will be on the 11th of December. After that, we're kind of taking a little bit of time off from the live stuff to do studio stuff. So, kind of trade in one monster for the other. You know,
Yeah,
and it'll be a stretch this time for recording, because the first time they did it, it was all like single room recording. They were just in one like bedroom size room, and they individual tracked everything, and the drums were done on an electronic kit. Well, this time it's going to be a full acoustic kit, and then we'll do the individual tracking in a bigger studio with an actual sound vocal booth and everything. So hoping that it turns out as good, if not better, than the EP did.
so, are there any companies, any brands that you'd like to give a big shout out to?
Well, I'd like to thank Karina and Ragebreed Records and everything that she's done and continues to do on a daily basis. Like to thank Dirtbag Clothing for being a sponsor for us, because we are endorsed by them.
Outstanding.
Uh, Verilyn Music, which is our shop. We're hoping to grow it as much as we can. Hoping to get a little more when it comes to the live aspect, and we also do instrument repairs, sell instruments, and I think they may be starting some lessons too, trying to get a younger generation in back into the music scene. It seems like everybody wants to be a rapper these days, but nobody wants to pick up a guitar.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's probably because it requires work, but that's okay.
everything worthwhile does.
Yeah,
Everything worthwhile does require work.
it sure does.
Work, 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 work.
You know, I joined the band 2 years ago, and actually, let's see, 2.5 years ago, and we've put in hundreds of hours in that 2.5 years of just practice. Not even playing shows, just practice, and it's the same 18 songs, other than the new ones we've been writing. I mean, there's no feasible reason why you shouldn't put in that much work. If you want it to be good, if you want it to be something that you are extremely happy with, do as much as you can. Because if you don't, you're just shortchanging yourself. We're kind of we're the band that we're never satisfied with our own work. So it could always be better. It could always be cleaner. It could always be whatever. So we're kind of our own worst critics. But it takes that to at least for us to be that critical of ourselves to make something that we can accept to go up on stage and play. Because we've played with a lot of bands. I'm not trying to point at anyone in particular. So if anybody that we've played with in the past sees it, we're not naming anyone. We're not directing this at anyone. But a lot of bands that we've played with in the past that get to a certain point, and they're like, oh, well, that's good enough. You could get better if you wanted to. But, some bands, especially the ones that have been doing it a long time. It's like I said, I just got back into it a couple of years ago. Ones that have been doing it for a long time, they get to a comfortable spot and they stop trying to progress. They lose that hunger, they lose that fire, and it just stagnates. And it's like, oh, well.
It's constant work. Remember, well, big shout out. I just want to throw a big shout out there to Ragebreed, Karina, Share, everybody over at Ragebreed, your tops. Thank you for all your hard work and all you're doing for local music and international music. And I also want to throw out a quick shout out to J Lamb's Remy, High Voltage Video Magazine. Thank you, brother. I love you. Thank you for always premiering Hanging with the Dreamer every month. 6 months in a row. That's a milestone for the Dreamer, Jay. Thank you, brother. I also want to give a big shout out to mtrsradio.com and Superfan Shannon. I also like to give a real big shout out to Bill and the Essential Guitarist group on Facebook, for which I'm an admin. I got to make sure to give them a shout out, and Cutter Savage, Mark Nash, Marcy Douglas, my beautiful wife, Cindy Lou Comber Dunham. And I just want to give a big shout out to everybody who's got a dream. That if you believe in yourself enough and you stay true to yourself, and no matter what anybody says, no matter what goes on around you, hold on to that dream. Because if you keep pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward, in the words of Steve Vai, you will become a self-fulfilled manifestation. You will become your own self-fulfilled prophecy. Don't give up. Don't give up. It'll get hard. Maybe you'll have to switch a couple things around in your life, but keep pushing. And don't ever forget why you started in the first place. That's key right there. I found that's a big one. That's a big one. Support local music. Support everything that Self-Imposed Exile is doing, getting ready to do, going into the studio, finish out the year with a gig or two. Check out Self-Imposed Exile on YouTube, all over social media. Reach out to Tristan. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. He'll say hi back. Say hi. Say hello. Say hello to Tristan Costman, vocalist of Self-Imposed Exile. Strike up a conversation. He's a good guy. Follow all those support links. That will be down the description box of this video. Thank you, Tristan Costman.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Thank you very much, Tristan. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate what you do too, man. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tristan.